Above the Yuletide feast time of year, the quantity of parcels Courier brought goes via the rooftop, challenging headaches for supply companies and disappointment for customers while orders go astray. Can Technique manage in the growth of on the internet trading? Pippa Garden wasn't amazed while the Yuletide souvenir she'd orderly for her sibling, a couple of £150 sunglasses, was leftward in the recirculation bin by the supply business. And time up it was due to be emptied by the reject collectors. I requested to offer this to my sibling, up she went traveling and the supply had already undertaken 2 weeks, says Pippa, 29, who lives in London. The spectacles got processed. Though she was refunded, Pippa says she was leftward since really disappointed by the occurrence. Such frustrations are just potential to increase as messenger companies fight to manage in the splash in on the internet trading linked in labor shortages. Storage, logistic and on the internet system are all constructed to manage in ordinary levels of consumer demand, and so go by a lot of distress while volumes growth considerably, says Neil Saunders, operating CEO at global data retailer. In the UK among November and December, 387 million parcels are anticipated to be brought by retailers, up 13% on recent year, says on the Internet Retailer Associate IMRG. And in the US, supply gigantic UPS expects to supply almost 800 millionth packages globally among Thank and New Year's threshold, a 38 millionth growth on recent year. So how will messenger companies manage in the enlarged consumer demand? We usually see a 100% growth in the volumes above a really brief time of just a pair of weeks, says John Ormond, operative CEO of Hubs and Depots at Hermes, the Deutsche supply company. So we include quite asset, labor, supply couriers, machinery, work circle the watch for 3 weeks to effectively supervise the additional volumes, until affecting our facility standard targets. Hermes expects to knob more than rather than 70 millionth parcels in the UK one above November and December, up 7% on recent year. One of the largest headaches is predictive, which the amount of orders is potential to be. Receive the incorrect each foliage us in untapped power or unfortunate customers, says Mr. Ormond. But it is as well with more than modes of transportation, consisting game of golf carts in several housing areas and electrical tricycles in constructed up city centers. GPS monitoring and path planner software program include done it facilitating for customers to see while parcels are potential to come, but not creature in at the period is a multi-year issue. Hermes has startup safe place picture, whereby couriers get a image of the parcels leftward in a preset or secure position as testimony for customers. But Deutsche Clothes gigantic Zalando and Belgium position team include lost a move future and trialed and to home supply facility in Belgium. The client installs a clever doorway castle and live video equipped doorbell how gives couriers accessing to a client's building time the owner watches on the internet. To home supply could be an exciting new stock option for our facility briefcase, says January Bartels, defect president of client execution and logistic at Zalando. Technique opening and matrix of possibilities, but we as well see how customers consumer demand clarity and comprehensive data on the facility. But not everyone may be lucky to let a unknown in their characteristic. The type of question florid by Pippa Garden and lot other tool here tech clicking and collect services are proof more famous, giver customers versatility above while and wherever they choose up their purchases. Phil Hackney, Team Operative CEO at Store Straight, proprietor of Really and Littlewoods, says to manage in spike periods, such as Dark Friday and Yuletide, the company has been ramping up its clicking and collect facility, as widening supply times. On 30% of our orders go to clicking and collect points, he says. We aware customers loving the facility since they don't include to expect in for a supply, instead of collecting it at a easy period, consisting on Yuletide Day in several cases. UK Top Road and on the internet retail dealer Argos has enlisted and further 1,400 interim personnel members to its allocation centers to manage in the Yuletide time. But time December tends to be the spike retailer time for the Western, in China it's November, substantially due acquaintance date, the on the internet trading occasion developed by Alibaba how encourages the nationality to surge of China electronic commerce gigantic took in a recording 160 BN renminbi, pound, for its Acquaintance Day trading fest of 1 to 11 November. Spike change of seasons need a enormous sum of preparing, consisting manufacturing the largest effective use of our national supply web, in tens of thousands of human beings on the supply crew, and our robot and automate in our high execution centers, that assist us scope up in a brief sum of period, says Lori Zhao, CEO of World Communication at. But technique can just do so lot to enhance effectiveness, supply companies and retailers requirement more than bodies, too much. In the US down there are labor shortages, says global data retailers Neil Saunders. The is manufacturing it more than hard for retailers and couriers to hire, and down there is now an severe lack of trucking power necessarily the pushes up expenses and increases the probability of failures. Among insistent rumors of a lack of skilled supply drivers in the UK, Institution of Couriers President Carl Lomas would just tell, I'm not quotation on how a. Paint yours own conclusions.